He had no literal visible sun before Bethlehem. You see, I can take this Bible and ball people up and they won't know which way they're going. Yes, people just pull things out of the air. Like I heard about a young man who went to college. He took a course. He wanted to be a newspaper reporter. Well, when he finished his course, he went to a newspaper and he went to the editor to apply for a job. So the editor was interviewing him. Now he said, I've got to have somebody that can headline a story that really is up on it. Now the editor said, suppose a couple would go to the minister's house at 2 o'clock in the morning and arouse him out of sleep and want to get married at 2 o'clock in the morning. How would you headline that story? Well, the young man sat there. He got to thinking. He said, an anxious couple to get married when at 2 o'clock in the morning aroused the preacher out of his sleep, and the preacher drowsy trying to get the sleep out of his eyes. You know, when you get married, you call it tying a knot, and a lot of them have slipped. It's not exactly a knot, it's a noose. But in a way, the young man sat there. He said, now here's a preacher getting out of bed to tie the knot at 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, he said, this is how I'd headline it. The preacher ties the knot in his shirt tail. Preacher getting up early and he tied the knot early, and he just said he tied it in his shirt tail. Now, that's the way people are. Just anything that comes to mind, that's what they say. But let's face Bible with it today. Let's take what truth says about it. Did not Jesus say, I'm the first, I'm the last, I am he that was alive, I died, now I'm alive forevermore, and I'll hold the keys of death and hell? Did he not say that? Well, let's believe what he said. In our image, after our likeness. Now let's notice carefully. Let us make man refers to a future body that would belong to God. Now you see, a man is a twofold being, just like Christ was a twofold being. I stand here today, you only see one person. I have within this visible makeup an unseen man. You see, invisible man. Then the outward man is the express image of the invisible man. You will never see my soul, but you see my body. The same way with what he had in mind. It was a prophecy. It was a projection into the future. There would be a day after God made Adam in his own image. There would be a day when another one would come whose name would be Jesus, and this Jesus, the flesh, would be the express image of the invisible God. I think anybody ought to understand that. God made man in his image. Now notice carefully. Jesus was the future body that God would manifest himself in. Colossians chapter 1, verse 15. Jesus is the image of the invisible God. Now that's what he said. He became visible. The invisible became visible. The only way that he could become visible, through a manifestation of flesh. Hallelujah. Now note these questions right here. Oh, it's so simple when you get down in the Bible. Now Romans chapter 5 and verse 14 speaks about Adam and said Adam was a figure of him that was to come. He was the image of him that was to come. God made all things alone. He spread abroad the heavens by himself. He made the earth all alone. He needed no help. And when he said, let us make man, he was speaking of the day when Christ would come. And let me settle your minds right now that God is still in the process of making men through the medium of his church and the preaching of the gospel of Jesus Christ. We are made in the image of God. Jesus was the express image of the invisible God. But you know, the psalmist, nobody could have ever put it in a sweeter and in a more powerful than did the psalmist. He said, when I awake in his likeness, then I will be satisfied. Hallelujah.